Welcome to BenUnlocked, and this is where it begins. We are managing Colne FC in the bottom tiers of the English football pyramid. Proper non-league, no money, no reputation, probably no working shower. But we're not here to survive. We're here to climb the English football pyramid, from the bottom tiers to the Football League, and potentially beyond. And if we fail, it'll be spectacular. Let's meet the sleeping giant. At this level, the wage budget barely exists. We've got £200 a week. We cannot buy our way up. However, we do have a scouted budget, strangely enough, at £20,000. So this is going to be about what recruitment we can do with very limited resources. Looking at our squad, we have a bunch of teenagers and then a bunch of veterans. We don't really have a lot in between. We don't have many 20-year-olds. Taking a look at this squad, let's have a look at some of the attributes that we have. See if we have many with pace. Now, pace is going to be very important in this. And it looks like we've got 3 players that have got relatively decent pace. We've got Miles Story, who's our attacking midfield on the right, or he can play as the striker in the centre, which will actually be pretty important for where we are. We've got Jordan Fitton, who plays in the midfield or attacking mid. He's on the left. We've got Paul Turner, who's also a striker in the centre. And then we've got Harry Turner, who's, funnily enough, the goalkeeper. Now, the goalkeeper's not particularly going to need the pace too much, so we can't really look and use that. We've got 2 keepers, which I'd expect. We've got a few defenders. We've got some wing-backs on the left and the right, Mark and Russell. A few mid-centre mids, a couple of attacking mids, wingers, and then a striker. The problem with this is that half of the players might have come straight from a Sunday league, which just adds to the jeopardy. If we look at our star man in Miles Story, and we look at where he's been, it looks like he's banded around a lot of the Football League, and actually into Scotland too. Started at Coventry, some couple of seasons at Swindon, Salisbury on loan, Portsmouth, went over to Inverness, and then started to come back to Bury, and then Clitheroe, and then to us at Colne. In 353 games, he's actually scored 42. So let's get on with some of the emails. Have a look at the little bit of vision and expectations. Let's just have a look what they say. 5-year plan, playoffs, be competitive in the FA Vars, reach the last stages of the First Division Cup. Next season, to continue to challenge for for a playoff place, which to me says the current season not expecting us to actually get there, but they're allowing us another season thereafter. Same again the season after that, and the season after that. I think we can accept that. Better to underpromise and overdeliver than the opposite. And if we were to change expectations, if we want to amend them, does it give us any sort of extra money? We reach the first round, the second qualifying round, we get an extra £10 for the budget. Not really anything to scream about. First Division Cup doesn't do anything for our budget. So we might as well stick with where we were. So if we're to look at our squad depth, it looks like we don't have any right backs, left backs, we need an attacking mid, and we need another goalkeeper. Now for the outfield positions, I don't care if the passing is a 6. If you're fast and strong, you're going to play. So let's try and find some players that might actually be interested in joining this team. So we're going to look for expired. In fact, we'll look at the amateurs first. What we'll do is we'll try and reduce the age to try and get someone or a few in their 20s. And then we'll see if anyone's interested in actually joining us. So straight away, it looks like there might be some players potentially that we can look at. Now, if we were to look at the stats that they have, or the attributes, we've got a couple of guys here that might be worth taking a look at. We've got some decent acceleration as well. There's a 19-year-old striker there. We've then potentially got another goalkeeper there, Lorcan Morrissey. And the other one is a 28-year-old Adam Redford, who plays as a wing back on the right. What we're going to do is we're going to offer him a trial for a couple of weeks if we can. While we're at it, we'll also have a look at the other guys. Again, we'll see if we can get them on trial. What we could also do as well is we could also look at loans for the lower League 2 clubs and the National League clubs. We'll first have a look at our expired contracts rather than just amateurs, and we'll see if there's any more that we might potentially want to bring in on trial. And looking at that, there could be a heck of a lot. And it looks like within this, there might be some good free agents as well. So, again, what we'll do now is we'll try and bring on trial as many as we can. The more, the better. It might give us an indication if we can get anybody now and anybody for free. If anyone's interested in joining this journey. So one of them straight away that we've seen here is Callum Harvard. 19 years old, is currently a free agent. He's very strong on his right foot and reasonable with his left. He's a 6 foot and he's a centre forward. He could be worth having a look at. But I think what we're going to find here with a lot of our transfers is we're not going to be able to sign many people all, and it's going to take a lot of work to try and get someone in. And this is mainly because we don't have any finances at all, and a lot want a decent appearance fee. Now, I'm trying to reduce this and try and throw in some bonuses, but they still at the minute don't want to come in. So let's take a look at where the squad is now. Now, when we first started this save, we didn't really have any players that were actually sort of playing for us. So what we've got here now is a full team. We have got a number still of the veterans, and of which I think we will end up just letting go to hopefully get some younger players back in. But what we have actually got is we've now got a bunch of teenagers and sort of like mid to late 20s, all with decent potential, with an odd few that are already good for the ability. As you can see on the 4 stars, we've even got probably one of our best in Roman Keeler. When it comes to where our fixtures have been and where we've been since the start, now, admittedly, at the start for the friendlies, we were running a system that wasn't particularly working well at all. We're now running a 4-2-3-1, and we started to change that around August. And as you can see from the early days, we started off very well with a 3-0 win. But then in the next 5, we only managed to win 1, admittedly at 7-0. But we drew 3, we lost 1. Now moving into August, we won 3, we drew 1, and we lost 2. And then that's when things started to pick up. So September, we won 3 out of the 4 games, scoring relatively well with 4-0 and then 6 goals, and then scraping the win of a 3-2 against Main Road. In October, this is where, again, it looks like the system's working for the players that we've got, and we're scoring a healthy amount of goals. With a 6-1, a 6-0, 3-0 away, a 2-2 draw, and then a 6-1 win in the First Division Cup on the second round. I have just started to play a few in November, and it looks like we've got 2 wins there, again scoring pretty well with 4 goals apiece in the away and 4 goals to 2 on the home game against Droylsden. So where are we in terms of the league table? Well, from those matches that we've seen, you'd expect us to be somewhere near the top, if not at the top. And you can rightly see here that Colne is actually at the top. We've now won 10 games, drawn 2, lost 2. We've scored 47 goals. We've had 20 against us. So we've got a really healthy goal difference against Daisy Hill. Now, our local rivals, Nelson, are still in contention for the title or playoff spots. We've got Darwin that are also not too far away. Now, if we have a look at our finances, don't believe we're doing too well. We've currently got a negative balance of minus 15,130. And I think this is mainly down to the fact that we're actually just spending a lot more than what we're getting. We've actually got a negative £25 wage budget. We're currently spending 226, and we've now exhausted our scouting, having spent £33,000. Not sure what on though. If we have a look at our wages, nobody's actually taking a basic wage. Now, how many fixtures have we got left coming up? Have we got any more cups? Looks like we're going to play Daisy Hill, that's in our league, at home in the third round of the First Division Cup. We've got AFC Blackpool. We've got our local rivals away again at Nelson. We actually play Daisy Hill again later on, before ending the season down at Garstang at the end of April. Now, the actual league itself only has 18 teams in it. So at this point, we've got 20 left. We're not far off halfway. And as things have been going, I'm relatively confident we should at least get the playoffs. And with that, I'd hope we manage to have a little bit of a cup run to get a little bit of money in, because it would be useful to get some extra depth in the squad and potentially release the older mid-30s players, for those that can still develop and have got good potential. Fast forwarding quite a way, let's look at where we are now after the season has finished. Well, after 34 games, you can see that we pipped Ashton Town by 6 points. We won 26, we drew 3, and we lost 5. Now, looking at the goal difference, we were always going to be above those below us. And a lot of that's down to the sheer number of goals that we actually scored. You can see, looking at the against us, we're about average for where you'd expect for the playoffs to be. Late 30s, 40s into the 50s. Some actually conceded far less than us. So we've got Ashton Town only conceded 35. We've got Darwin with 37. There's a 36 in there. But overall, we did very well. Now, let's have a look at some of the fixtures and how we ended up and how we finished the season. So the last time I spoke, we had about half of the season played. So following on from where we were, you can see there's a lot of green in there. And there's a lot of, again, of decent goals being scored. So 6 again, 6, 3 away, 6 away, 4 at home, 5-0. A loss there against Royalston. We're following where we were in the cup. We beat Daisy Hill 2-1 at home for playing Garstang in the quarterfinal, and we won 4-2, which then meant that in the semi-final we were actually playing Holker. Now, we actually won that away, but on penalties, so that's probably the best test that we've had. Until we got Droylsden in the final. And again, we managed to win on penalties at home, 1-1, which rounded off the season. You can see from the right-hand side against Droylsden that out of the 5 penalties we actually took, we actually scored 5. We take a look at the squad and where we ended up, how many players we ended up with. You can see that we have actually got a couple of, at least at the minute from the last selection, we have got a couple of players that were in on loan: Sam Booth, Sam Lawrence, and Tyler James, and Caden Robinson Coley. Now, when we were trying to recruit a lot, you can imagine a lot didn't want to come. And again, we have still got some of the old boys left in the mid-35s. Now, during the season, we did have a number of messages saying that their stats were starting to regress, which was absolutely going to be the case. And it looks like our star player out of the season in terms of ability and potential as it stands was Roman Keeler. Now, if we have a little bit more of a look at Keeler himself, He actually played 30 appearances for us, and he actually scored 3 and assisted 8. Not bad for a defender. And this is the sort of player we'll need to try and keep hold of as we go into the next season. Where are we then in terms of finances? Now, this time round, considering we've just won and we've just gone into the league above, we've now got a wage budget of £800 a week, and we are currently spending £481. Our scouting budget is already negative, and we have absolutely no transfer budget. So what we need to try and do now is players such as Keeler, we need to try and tie them down. And if we can, we might have to start paying them a little bit of money, because there will be other clubs that are looking for these players. During our first season, there was a number of players that were being looked at and trying to be lured away from us. It's only because of our form and how we were playing that they decided to stay. This is something that we absolutely can't afford to lose players in the next round, or we will have to turn back to the trial farming to try and get some more players in. I'll pick this back up when we start the next season.